year, the case of Anastasia Kinsey has hit the headlines after she was claimed she was dismissed from the congregation of Mothers of Perpetual Help of the Archangel's Sisters for reporting a case of sexual harassment by her head of department at Veritas, a Catholic university in Abuja owned by the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria. And she says that previously a priest had propositioned her explicitly for sex, which she rebuffed, triggering what she describes as a revenge mission against her. Since then, she says her world has unraveled amid a storm of allegations, harassment claims, and institutional backlash. So what's really going on here? Nun Anastasia Kinsey, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, what's your reaction to what that nun was saying?
I find it a little funny because she's asking me for evidence, but in our world today, imagine me coming out and calling names and talking, it wouldn't make any sense. And of course, like she said, I could be sued. And it's not like the evidences do not exist. They do exist, but I cannot put them out there.
What kind of evidence do you say exists?
I have a video and an audio recording that showed where the head of department harassed me. And
right.
I can't put it out there. So she responded to what she saw online with so much clarity, as if she had spoken to me or anyone. Yet she talks about one-sided, story. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Well, let's get to the heart of the matter from your point of view. Tell us what happened to you briefly and how you came to be dismissed as a nun after 10 years as a reverend sister.
Yeah, I joined the congregation of Mother of Perpetual Help of the Archangel Sisters in 2015. And in 2017, I was professed, and in 2023, I was finally professed. And after that, I experienced so many challenges. Of course, as a human person, your life cannot just be a bed of roses. And I had always confided in my superior general and my bishop. But the issue has always been that I was always complaining, according to them, whereas what I sought was clarity. And
yeah, but what were you complaining to them about?
About our relationship with the priests in
right.
the diocese.
And what was that relation? What were you telling them about that relationship?
First, I think I wrote to the bishop that the priest was always shouting at me when I come to the office to talk to him. I worked under him, and it was just that I had to write because the bishop and many other people would not believe me, So I had to write to the bishop telling him that this priest was, harassing me and making me,
yeah, but
uncomfortable.
not sexually harassing.
Not sexually as at that point.
Right.
So when I
So
wrote
when did
to
it
the
get
bishop,
to sexual harassment? Because that's the really serious one. I mean.
Yeah, I only reported verbally.
Yeah, I mean, they were bullying you
yes,
initially,
yes,
which is bad enough. But what really got, really bad is the sexual harassment one. I mean, that's a if it's true, that's a horrendous thing. I mean, so tell us about that.
I reported to my superior. I spoke to her about a priest who I was living in the same compound with.
Where was this?
In a community where I was, in Auchi.
Right, that's in Edo State.
Yes.
Right.
So I told her that on a fateful day, I went into his room and he tried to touch me, and I don't just understand if this is a norm, if it's a normal thing. And she just told me to just.
Was that the first time it had ever happened to you?
Did we hear that? You watching, did you just hear what she said? That when she complained to her superior, this is what this Reverend Father is doing to me. This Reverend Father is harassing me sexually. He is harassing me sexually. And she just told her, just ignore him. Just ignore him. Is that what she's supposed to say or do as the superior? Is that, in fact, it's terrible. Let's continue.
Wasn't the first time.
Right.
Yes, there was a priest in 2016. She said I should go with him in his car to his parish for a week, and I felt that shouldn't happen. And another priest, he put his belt on my waist, trying to check the size of the cloth he would get me when I visit him, and that broke me. It gave me a lot of trauma in 2016, which is what they term madness in 2016.
Right. And you reported.
Did you hear that again? This is another priest. Another priest. Now, when she complained the second time, it was termed madness. That means she has gone crazy. Are we hearing that? Let's continue watching.
This harassment.
I did.
What was their reaction?
It was normal, nothing, no case.
Yeah, but what did they say to you?
More like, am I not an adult?
In other words, that what was happening did not negate the very principles of Catholicism, the vows that you had taken, but that they took it in their stride.
They
Is that what
didn't
you're
make
saying?
it.
Now we have heard what they told her clearly, that it's normal. She shouldn't complain that sexual harassment and sexual activities, within the environment of the church is normal. Therefore, she has to calm down and do what others are doing. Did we not hear her say it? The situation is terrible. Let's continue. Please, I'm sorry for interjecting.
It seemed like it was a problem.
Right. It sounded like it was a fairly normal thing.
Exactly.
Right. And then you've now, how did all this connect you to Veritas University?
Now, when I complained bitterly about a priest I worked with, and they said where I worked before that they didn't like me again, the students in the hostel were complaining, and the people were also complaining according to the bishop, so he had to transfer me away from there.
Where was that?
What happened actually in Imegba, a village where I worked as a hostel matron.
Right.
What actually happened was the priest was not given enough money for feeding of the hostel students. I had to use my salary to cover up for parts of the feeding. So I reported it to her, the superior. She did nothing about it. But then when I was transferred, I thank God, and that was the same time I applied to, I wrote JAMB going to school. So that was how I got to Veritas University on a scholarship.
Right.
Yes.
So you were transferred to Veritas. What year was that?
2018.
Right.
I
And
went
then,
on studies to study computer science
right.
at Veritas University.
Right.
So from there, I only come to the congregation, December or Easter period for holidays.
So you were spending all your time at the university?
Yes.
Right. So how did it get to this allegation from you of sexual harassment by your head of department?
This was on my second, what I call missionary journey, when I returned to the congregation after they gave me a 3-month suspension. This suspension came after I wrote to the bishop about things that were happening. I think I wrote to him about 13-page a letter with so many things that I just poured out my heart. I titled it A Letter to My Loving Father. So when I said all of that to him, he said he was not happy with me, and I started hearing things from sisters that I insulted the bishop.
Well, wait a minute. This letter preceded the sexual harassment allegation. In other words, it came before you then.
This was before I was, I went on suspension by the congregation. Okay, I wrote that letter complaining of so many things that was happening. And in that letter, I said, we sisters are placed under priests. Like my letter of posting from 2022 when I graduated from the university did not carry any position I was to work. Okay, you've been transferred or assigned to work in this place as what? Which means the priest would have used me for anything. And in that way, I became the bus conductor in the school. I became the busser. I became the HM. I became the cleaner. I became the nanny. So I complained to the bishop, and he called the priest, and the priest told him a lot of things. And the bishop said, I would just go and be writing. He never called the priest, nor called me to sort it out.
Right.
The same year, a sister said I was using jazz juju on the bishop. I reported the issue to him. I sent the voice record of the conversation I had with her to him. So all of that made me uncomfortable, and I couldn't run to him when, upon returning to Veritas University for my master's, I was harassed by the head of department. I couldn't trust him.
Right. Well, look, there are a lot of things that you're telling us here, and it's difficult for people to get their heads around it because it's going from one thought to the other. Let's just focus on the biggest allegation that you have made, which is that you were sexually harassed by your head of department at Veritas University. How did that come about?
When I came to the university, I applied to work as a graduate assistant. I told the superior, because when I brought the letter that I needed to go for master's, the bishop said he had no money. So I told the superior that I could get a work, I could get employed while I do my master's. So she agreed to that, gave me a letter to that effect, and I left to do my master's in Veritas. So I took the letter to the software engineering department, the head of the department. So he told me to write the letter of seeking employment. And then he said I should take it to the vice chancellor. I told him that a classmate of mine said his head of department went with him and it helped him to get the employment. So could you please come with me, because I really need to get this employment so I can pay my fees. And he said, okay, and he went with me to the vice chancellor's office. Upon our return, he said I should come with him to his private office. And that was when he came at me and tried to kiss me and held my body. And it was very terrible. I couldn't react. I froze. And afterwards, I spoke to some staff and some colleagues. I got the employment quite okay. But I started, being fearful of him and avoiding him. And
you reported this to the authorities?
Yes, I did.
You appeared before a panel?
I went to the chief medical director of the university. That was in December, and I told him my head of department was harassing me. And he said I should come to him if he does it again. So I felt that was not okay. So I didn't come to him when he did, harass me other times. So I reported to the university because a student of mine in 200 levels said the head of department tried to touch his classmate inappropriately as a mother, even though I'm a sister and not married.
Can you imagine that? Not just her, but small girls, 200 level, he was also harassing. If she can, complain as a, worker in the school and no action is taken, is it the student that will go and complain and something will come out of it? Did you see what we're talking about? As a priest, and you believe that your body is not telling you the truth again of the oath that you have taken, why not resign and go and get married? Is it a sin for a priest to get married? You resign and go and get married instead of, disgracing yourselves just like this for nothing.
That instinct is there, and I felt that this has to be reported. So I sought evidence and reported it to the university. They called me to a panel and tried to pressure me into giving up the case.
Right, so that was how they responded to your allegation?
Yes, that he is a key...
Was there any attempt to investigate it?
I have not seen that, so they took me to the Vice Chancellor's office.
But you said you've got some evidence.
Yes.
Did you submit that to them?
I did show them. So they called him, they called the HOD.
Right.
And he said nothing like that happened. That nothing like that happened. So they played the evidence and he said, oh, now I can see that she's clearly trying to set me up. And they asked me to step out. When I stepped out, I heard them laughing. And when I came back in, I had to press the record to record whatever they were doing. I felt really, really disturbed. And they took me to the Vice Chancellor, who said that,
okay, thank God that she has an evidence. But let me ask, if somebody tried to come and kiss you unexpectedly, will you be able to have, to have time to snap or to have evidence against that person? No. Except whereby the person has been coming constantly to harass you. You cannot decide, okay, let me even try to have evidence in case if this person denies. For that once or even twice, you might not even have the evidence. But also, we thank God that she has an evidence. I suppose that when she complained, they're supposed to have called the Reverend Father, talk to him. Please, if this thing is what you're doing, stop. We don't want to hear such again, but rather what happened? They told her to go outside and they were there laughing. Laughing over what? God, please, let's finish up.
If I insist that a panel should be set up, that I will have to prove where in my letter I had said that such cases were reported and the university did not handle it. And I felt that the burden of proof was being, shifted to me, who is reporting the incident rather than the person who abused me.
Right. Well, in all fairness, they have to investigate both sides. It's not fair on someone for allegations to be made against them because it affects their reputation, whilst at the same time, it is not fair on you that the allegations you're making are not properly investigated. But let me just make it clear that the university, Veritas, has denied the charges that you laid against them. And in the best interests of journalism here on Arise News, Veritas University, as well as her congregation of sisters, have a right of reply. So you have an absolute right to come on this program and respond to the allegations that she's making. But you said you sent letters to them, you got
Yes.
no reply.
They
And
acknowledged.
that there's been no discussion of accountability.
Of this reverend sister is a reason why a lot of people that are being harassed sexually by some people in some position, they'll be scared to come out to complain, because once you complain, you'll be the one that will be in trouble. Yes, this is what is happening, that a lot of people will swallow whatever they are being harassed sexually on. Now look at this reverend father. His name is James Anyanwu. He's a reverend father of St. Benedict Catholic Church, Aba Diocese in Abia State. This reverend father you're saying was being suspended. Why? Because he came out and tweeted that a lot are happening in churches, that some of their reverend fathers are doing what? Are chasing whatever that is scared, to the extent that some of their husband will come and be complaining to him. Please tell also reverend father to let my wife be. Tell them to stop, chasing my wife. This is what this guy tweeted. And he even went further to say that most of those evil reverend father, because there are good reverend fathers and of course the bad ones, that some of them we are chasing even those small manservants. Yes, this is what he said, that a lot are happening, that he doesn't care. They should suspend him or even sack him. He doesn't care. Take his name, James Anyanwu, and go and check it up. It's there. Even he's tweeted all these things that I'm saying. He said he doesn't care whether they kill him or not. He's just 30 years old, that he doesn't care, that he will keep on speaking the truth. And of course, that truth has landed him in suspension, because as we're talking, he's still under suspension and has not been called back. Go and check it up. Did you see what we're talking about? Truth does not set us free again anywhere, even in churches, except lies. That is only what set us free. What do you think? Don't you think so? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much, and finish up.
Veritas University acknowledged receipt of my letters, but they tried to play tricks. They came to my house unannounced with a nurse claiming that I was mentally unstable, simply because I wrote a report a day before the panel they called me to. They said I should appear before the panel on the 11th, but then moved it to 14th. I still went for the panel. They fixed the panel on the same day with my exam. I had to miss that exam and went for the panel.
Right. So how did you get to be dismissed then? Very briefly, because we're almost out of time.
I was dismissed according to them.
as a nun?
Yes. When they came to my house unannounced, I ran to Jos, to my parents' house. And then the bishop called me. Where was I? And I told him that I was in Jos with my parents. And he said, it's holiday time. Why won't you come to the diocese? Not quite long after that conversation, I saw online that a priest was writing that I was mentally unstable, that I came to the convent with incomplete results. Father Solomon Olumeho. It was disturbing. So I sent a message to the bishop. Did you see what? Did you permit Father to write this about me? Then I went to Facebook and wrote that I was still a member of my congregation. I had not converted to Islam.
Yeah, but
according to what they claim.
You did write on
yes.
on Facebook
and that
you had converted to Islam.
Yes, I told them
and
that.
they got rid of you for apostasy.
Yeah, I told them that that was a post under tension. Prior to all these events, there were calculated attempts to pressure me into leaving the convent.
Right.
And I have always said that if anyone would make me leave the convent, I would not even be a Christian. My late auntie Salamatu, under distress, it was just common for me to have taken that name Salamatu because she was dear to me. And the picture I used in that Facebook post was from a picture I took in 2023.
Right. So your issue here, I mean, it raises questions about accountability in Catholic institutions, about sexual harassment, about alleged cover-up within religious circles. What are you going to do next?
Well, I do hope that justice will prevail. I submitted another letter telling the university that whatever they wrote in my termination of appointment were false, given an opportunity, if they would call me, I'm willing for them to, retrace their steps and do the right thing.
Right, and you would like to go back to being a nun, do you?
Yes, I have not left technically, because according to canon law, you cannot dismiss me as a finally professed sister by what you saw online. You've not had any conversation with me. You didn't even investigate my claims or whatever you claim that was online.
Okay. I want to thank you very much indeed for coming in to tell us your story. Anastasia Kinsey is a recently dismissed Catholic nun, and as I mentioned previously, her congregation as well as Veritas University have an absolute right of reply. That's it for this